Hey everybody, welcome back to another EDH video. Today's video we have day 6, I think it's day 6 of 25 days of deck building. We're almost there, don't worry, we only got 19 more. But today we're finally breaking into the dual colors. I don't know why I was going to say duo colors. Dual colors, two color pairings, what are the guilds, whatever you want to call them. Today we have Azorius, and I haven't built a deck around Kastral, but this is probably one of my favorite cards that's come out this year because it's bird tribal, and I really like it. But after I do my 32 deck challenge, this will probably be the first deck that I build after that. But anyways, Kastral the Windcrested, 3 generic and an Azorius, a legendary creature, bird scout, flying. Whenever one or more birds you control deal combat damage to a player, choose one. You may put a bird creature card from your graveyard or hand onto the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and then put a +1 counter on each bird you control, and then draw a card. You get to choose one. Damage to a player, one or more birds. So only if one bird deals 1 damage to a player. You can only get 3 triggers per turn is what I'm trying to say. But this deck is coming in with 1 planeswalker, 33 creatures, 3 sorcerers, 12 instants, 12 artifacts, and 34 lands. Pretty much well-rounded all around. Coming in at $140, pretty low, honestly, for what it is. So first up, we're going to have a ramp, as always, because ramp is key to any deck, in my opinion. I think a lot of people's opinion, actually. So first up, we have Talisman of Progress, two generic. It's artifact, tap preferred colorless, or an Azorius, or not an Azorius, a white or a blue, and it deals 1 damage to you. Thought Vessel, 2 generic. You have no maximum hand size, and it taps for colorless. It's an artifact. Since we might be drawing a lot of cards with Kastral, I put it in here. Warden of Evo's Isle, 2 generic and a blue. Bird Wizard, flying. Creature spells with flying you cast cost 1 less to cast. Not really ramp, but I think I'll count it. Watch of the Spheres, Azorius, flying. Creature spells with flying you cast cost 1 less to cast. Stormscape, familiar, 1 generic and 1 blue. White spells and black spells you play cost 1 less to play. Flying bird. We don't have black in here, so. And then Soul Ring. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows what this card does at all. Taps for 2 colorless. Sky Diamond, 2 generic. Enters the battlefield tap. You tap it for a blue. It's an artifact. I put it in here because we need more ramp. Mind Stone, 2 generic. Tap it for a colorless. Tap 1 generic in it and sacrifice it and draw a card. Then I have Marble Diamond in here, which is the other diamond in the color that taps for white pretty much. It does the exact same thing as the other diamond, except for it taps for white. Then we have Felwar Stone, 2 generic. Add 1 mana of any color that a land and opponent's controls could produce. And opponent, yeah, I can't pronounce stuff right now. Azorius Signet, 2 generic, artifact. It's just the filter one. You pay a generic into it and you get an Azorius by tapping it. Arcane Signet, 2 generic, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. So it taps for all your colors. Azorius Key Rune, 3 generic, add a white or a blue, and then you can pay 2 or an Azorius, and it becomes a blue bird with flying. It's a bird, that's the reason why it's in here. Cartographer's Hawk, 1 generic and white. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player who controls more lands than you, return it to its owner's hand, and you search for a planes put on the battlefield tapped. It's a bird. It's a flyer. So we got a draw. There's actually a lot of draw. The commander is also a draw, so. Binding of Vasa, 2 generic, 2 blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Creatures your opponents control attack this turn of Fable if you pay a generic and a blue. Crook Claw Elder, 5 generic and a blue. Tap 2 untapped birds you control, draw a card. Tap 2 untapped wizards you control. Human gets flying until a turn. Kastral the Windcrested, we all know what this one does. I already said about it in the commander section. But you have an ability to draw a card there. Winged Words, 2 generic and a blue. Spells cost 1 less to cast if you control a creature with flying, and it says draw 2 cards. So most of the time it's going to be 2 mana, draw 2. Seaside Haven, taps for generic, and you can also tap an Azorius, sacrifice a bird, draw a card. Yangling, Sky Dancer, 1 generic and 2 blue. The bottom one is islands you control, tap and draw a card, and then it also creates a 4/4 elemental with its negative ability. Our Augur Owl, 1 generic and a blue, enters the battlefield scry 3. It's not really a draw, but I put it in here as it's like a card. You can look at cards. It's basically like half a card. Next up, we have Removal. We're in white-blue, so we have some good choices. This is more like a board wipe. Astral Command, 4 generic, 2 white. Destroy all artifacts, destroy all enchantments, destroy all creatures of mana value 3 or less, or 4 or greater. You can choose 2 of those. Cloud Chaser, Kastral, 1 generic, 2 white. It's a bird. Whenever it comes into play, destroy target enchantment. And then Counterspell, 2 blue, counter target spell. It's an instant. Everybody knows what this one does. Pretty generic card. Next up we have Dazzling Denial, 1 generic and a blue. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If you control a bird, counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead. Yep. Generous Gift, 2 generic and white. Destroy target permanent. Its controller gets a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Instant. Pretty good. Judge's Familiar, 1 or blue. Creature bird. Flying. Sacrifice it. Counter target instant or sorcery unless its controller pays 1. We have Lieutenant Kurtar, 1 generic, 2 white. Flying. Sacrifice it. And an exile target attacking creature. It's a bird. Nimble Obstructionist, 2 generic and a blue. Whenever you cycle it, counter target activated or triggered ability you don't control. It's a bird. Path to Exile, exile target creature. This controller searches for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffles. It's again generic. Pongify, 1 blue, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Its controller creates a 3/3 green ape creature token. It's an instant. Rapid Hybridization. 1 blue, destroy target creature. They get a 3/3 frog. I don't want to read all that again. Raven Form, 2 generic and a blue. Has Foretell, but you can also exile target artifact or creature, and they get a 1/1 bird. You can also do this to your own stuff if you want. Strict Serenade. This is more like a flavor win. 1 blue. Counter target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. They get a 2/2 bird. Swan Song. Counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery. Its controller creates a 2/2 bird. You can counter your own stuff and get birds if you want. You don't have to, but you could. It'd be funny. Swords of Plowshare, 1 white, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Just removal. I'm the biggest bird. Biggest bird. You want to get big birds. I'm not going to have the same big dog thing, but Throwing Bird, 1 generic and a blue. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. Remember, our commander does stuff with plus and plus encounters, so it's pretty good. Soulcatcher's Airy, 1 generic and a white. Whenever a bird is put into the graveyard from play, put a feather counter on Soulcatcher's Airy, and all birds get plus and plus for each feather counter on it. Shabraz, the Sky Shark, 3 generic and an Azorius. Partner with Braylon, not in here. Whenever you draw a card, put a plus and plus counter on it and gain a life. Skycat Sovereign, and Azorius gets plus and plus for each other creature you control flying, and then you can pay 4 to an Azorius and make a 1/1 bird. Kanji Area Keeper, 2 generic and 2 and an Azorius. All birds get plus and plus for each feather counter on Kanji. Kanji Sky Warden, 3 generic and Azorius. Attacking creature with flying get +2/+0, and whenever it blocks blocking creatures with flying get +0/+2. Ishai Ojitai, 2 generic and Azorius. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a +++ counter on Ishai. Parable Winds, 1 generic and a blue. Creature control with flying get +1/+1. It's an enchantment. Pretty good one. Next up, we got Gravitational Shift, 3 generic and 2 blue enchantment. Creatures with flying get +2/+0. Creatures without flying get -2, -0. Empyrean Eagle, 1 generic and Azorius. Bird Spirit, flying. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. It's kind of like an anthem. Coat of Arms, 5 generic. Each creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature on the battlefield that shares a type with, or shares at least 1 creature type with it. Then we have Animal Sanctuary. You can tap 2 generic, put a +1/+ counter on target bird, cat, dog, goat, ox, or snake. Then we have Murmuration, 4 generic and a white. Birds in control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. In the beginning of your instep, for each spell you've cast this turn, create a 1/1 blue or 1/2 blue bird. Other birds. This is just, I didn't know where to put these birds, so I put them in other birds. Avon Mind Sensor, 2 generic and a white. Flash Flying. If an opponent would search their library, that player searches the top 4 of their library instead. Kind of a stacks piece, but it's a bird, so. Battlefield Raptor, 1 white, flying, first strike bird, 1/2. 1 mana, 1/2, man, that's so good. Jeez. Eagle of Deliverance, 4 generic, 2 white, enters the battlefield, put a indestructible counter on another target creature, draw a card if its creature's power is 2 or less. The Windlord, because I don't know how to pronounce the other part, 4 generic and Azorius. Other birds you can draw Vigilance, that's the only thing I would care about. It's a bird noble, flying Vigilance. Hairstrix, 1 blue, enters the battlefield, tap target permanent. Then you can pay 3 and draw a card and discard a card, flying bird. It's only in here because it's bird. Jubilant Skybonder, 1 generic and a Azorius hybrid. Creature control with flying, half spells your opponents cast cost 2 more to target them. And then Healer's Hawk, 1 white creature bird, flying lifelink, 1/1. It's the best bird ever. Jackdaw Savior, 2 generic and a white. Bird Cleric, whenever it or another creature you control flying dies, return another creature with mana value less or whatever. Night Fisher, 3 generic, 2 blue. Whenever another non-token bird enters, create a 1/1 blue fish. It's a bird. Life Creed Duo, 1 generic and a white. Bat Bird, whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. We have Mockingbird, X and a blue, Bird Bard. It's basically just becomes the copy of something else on the battlefield with mana value less than X. Perch Protection, 4 generic, 2 white. Create 4 2/2 birds to give us prominence. All permanents phase out, and your life total can't change. Safari Skyblade, not a bird, 4 generic, 3 white. You may pay white and tap 4 other untapped flying creatures, and then all flying creatures get indestructible whenever she's on the battlefield. Shrike Force, 2 generic and a white. Bird Knight, Flying Double Strike Vigilance, it's a 1/3. Windbrisk Raptor, 5 generic, 2 white. Attacking creatures you control have lifelink. It's a bird, flying, 5/7. 7 mana, 5/7. Wingmate Rock, 3 generic, 2 white. Creature bird. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if you attack with a creature this turn, create a 3/4 white bird, and whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking creature, I think. Deluge, 2 generic and a blue. Tap all creatures without flying. This is going to be like a one-sided, just to be able to get all your stuff through. Magus of the Moat, 2 generic, 2 white. Creatures without flying can't attack. So everybody can't attack except for us, pretty much. And Thou Shall No Fear, 1 generic and a white. Choose a creature type. Creature control of the chosen type get +1/+0 and gain indestructible to a turn. We're choosing birds. Next we have lands. This is the last segment of the episode here. So first up we have 9 plains. Yep, 9 plains. Seems like a good number. And guess what? Guess how many islands we have? Haha, 9 islands. I usually try to match up the numbers because that's just who I am. I guess there's probably like a world where I have like 7 islands and 11 plains or whatever. Animal Sanctuary. We already went over this, but I put it in here anyways because I like the art. I like looking at the art. Command Tower. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Actually good in this deck because there's 2 colors, so we're good there. Deserted Beach enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Enters the battlefield untapped, I think, a lot of the time. Flood Farm Verge taps for white, and then add blue. Activate only if you control a plains or an island. Glacial Fortress enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a plains or an island. Taps for a white or blue. It's not the basic land types, though. Hinge Gate Pathway, tap it for white, or you flip it, you can tap it for a blue. You have to choose which side you play it on, though. You can't just flip it randomly. Mystic Gate taps for a colorless, but you can also filter a white or a blue into it and get a white blue, or a blue. Port Town, we reveal a plains or an island. It comes in untapped and then taps for a white or a blue. I like cards like this. I don't know why. Everybody hates on those lands, though. Prairie Stream enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. White or a blue. That's what it taps for. It's also a plains island. Restless Anchorage is about to tap. You can tap it for a white or a blue, but it also becomes a 2/3 white blue bird if you pay the mana into it. And then Sea of Clouds enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. It's tapped for a white or a blue. Seaside Haven, we already went over this, but you can just sacrifice a bird and draw a card for an Azorius. Also taps for a generic now. We might tap for a colorless. It might have been errated. Skycall Expanse, filter land, pay 1 generic into it, tap it, you get an Azorius. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this bird video. I did not say bird is a word one time. But if you guys remember, if you've been with me for a long time, I did actually make a Bloomburrow video about this card because I like this card. I like birds. I like the bird tribals because I think the birds are pretty cool. And there's probably a lot of good birds in Bloomburrow that I didn't pay attention to because I was more focused on birds, Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe. Also, join the Discord. I'm on Blue Sky now. All that good stuff. Peace out. Links in the description. Peace out.